Welcome back, everyone. If you are joining for the first time, I've been reviewing Alabama's new notary law, which I've nicknamed the Notary Accountability Act of 2023. It goes into effect September 1, 2023. There are certain aspects of the law that will affect every notary with an active commission on 9/1/2023, which is one of the reasons why I'm doing these videos. By the way, if you missed viewing parts 1, 2, and 3, they are here on the channel. Go back and view them. The first one was a live recording, so it may not be in the same place as the other two, but really I want to encourage you to review all three so that you are up to speed and you know everything that will be changing. By the way, my name is Michelle Riley. I'm the owner of Notaries for Alabama. I am also a notary instructor. Notaries for Alabama helps Alabama residents become successful Alabama notaries. And the way that we do that is by coaching, assisting residents when they want to obtain their notary commission, kind of guiding them through the different steps and requirements, including issuing surety bonds, errors and omission insurance, offering training based on Alabama notary laws, and then additional mentoring and support. We're still talking about the new commission process. And let me say this, the scope of this new law is vast. It touches on so many different aspects of the notary's role and duties that I knew it would be too much to put in one video. And so instead of putting you to sleep with a 2 or 3 hour video, I've been taking small chunks or bites of it and trying to keep it between 20 to 25 minutes. And so in this video, we will be covering the much anticipated topic of mandatory training. So let's go ahead and bring that up. It'll take me just a moment. Here we go. Yes, one of the new requirements will be that every notary will need to take the mandatory notary training class. The training class will be, well, before I even get into that, training is not a new thing for notaries in other states. Not every state requires it. Alabama, to anyone's knowledge, I just left a meeting with someone who's been a notary since the early 1980s. They don't remember there ever being a requirement for notaries to take formal training. I've been a notary since 2005, and I know there hasn't been a requirement for that at all. Let's see here. What we know, there's some things we know about the training and some things we don't know. This part is very important. The training that is required is not just any typical notary training. This is a course that is being developed by the Alabama Probate Judge Association and the Alabama Law Institute. I mention that first and foremost because I don't want any Alabama notaries to think that someone else's training will satisfy this statutory requirement. The training, to my knowledge, isn't even done yet. They're working on it now. And so now I'm not saying that you should not pursue getting trained elsewhere. You can, but just recognize you will still have to take the training that's being developed by these two entities that you see on the screen. This will be a requirement for all new notaries that get their commission for the first time on September 1, 2023 and later. And then those of us who are notaries, but our commission doesn't renew until October, December 2024, etc. We can wait until then, and we should wait until our commission expires. And then that's when we will have to take the class. And that is when we'll have to take all the other new steps in the commission process. What's important for all of us to know is that the training must be completed within 30 days of us submitting the new notary application form, and within 30 days of paying that application fee. So the clock starts ticking as soon as we turn in our initial commission application and our renewal commission application. According to the law, if something comes up, a family emergency, something unprecedented, and we can't complete the training within 30 days, we can request an extension formally to our county probate judge. What we do not know as of today is this an hour-long course or a 3-hour course? We don't know if this will be a class that we can access online, or if we need to go somewhere and sit in a classroom. We don't know if the course material will be paper or electronic. And most importantly to me, we do not know if there will be a registration fee we have to pay to enroll and complete the course. Let's talk about the training content, okay? I put the word statutory in parentheses for a reason. Why? This is not going to be a course or a class that's going to get it, at least I don't believe it will be, that's going to tell you how to distinguish the difference between an acknowledgement notarization and a jurat notarization. I don't think that the training class will tell you how to calculate a notary fee. Instead, this is a class that is going to cover the new notary law requirements, which is the commission process, what our authority is, how far it reaches, what our duties, what we can and can't do as notaries, and what our ethical responsibilities are as notaries. Think of this as a type of compliance training. This training is required because it is outlined in the law that we must undergo the training. So it's not feel good, nice to have. Alabama wants to make sure we understand the seriousness of our role and what the repercussions will be if we fail to adhere to those legal and ethical responsibilities, if we step outside the box of what our duties and activities are as stated in the law. Compliance training will be required to ensure all notaries are aware and follow all notary laws and regulations so that we don't violate any of them while performing notarizations. That's not an excerpt from the notary law itself, but what you see on the screen does come directly from the notary law. Good news, I think, there will not be an exam. Senator Gavan and I exchanged emails. I had some questions for him as soon as I heard about this new law. And he let me know originally the way that the bill, Senate Bill 322 is written, it did include a test that notaries would have to take and pass before they could renew their commission, but that exam requirement was removed. Now the requirement is on showing up and completing the coursework, okay? And then will be held accountable. So now once we go through that class, where that will explain what can get us in hot water. If we find ourselves in hot water, we're accountable. We can no longer say we didn't know. We had no idea. That is not an option. The other thing I want to comment on is when I saw that the law did not state whether the training will be online or in person, I was like, as an instructor who holds currently most of my training through Zoom, I know firsthand that there are some notaries who have a difficult time logging in and using technology. And so I'm hoping that the Probate Judge Association and the Alabama Law Institute will take that into consideration. I think it would be great if there could be an option of doing online training and then a few times a quarter offering some in-person mandatory training. I think it's worth mentioning that other states who have implemented mandatory training for their notaries, one of the things that they noticed was a decrease in the number of notaries seeking or renewing their commissions. So it tends to act as a deterrent for some individuals who would rather not jump through so many hoops in order to become commissioned. I think my interpretation from reading the law, I get the impression that the training frequency will be every time we renew, but I could be wrong about that. It's a little vague. So it would be nice if it was just you take it once and you're done, but I think it will be at renewal. Why? Because laws change. And if there is a future change in this September law, how would somebody know, without going through additional training? Again, I mentioned it's unclear if there is going to be a registration fee. I do believe they're going to issue some type of certificate of attendance, or perhaps they will just electronically, they being the Alabama Law Institute and the Probate Judge Association, electronically notify the probate judge in your county and say, okay, Michelle Riley completed the required training. She is now cleared to renew her commission. The other, I don't want to call it a concern, but a factor with online training is whether or not there will be a way for a notary student to ask questions to ensure that they truly understand the meaning of the text and the content. So that remains to be seen. Someone asked me a question the other day in one of the live Zoom meetings that I've been hosting regarding the new law. That question was, I take a mandatory training class for my NNA certification. Will that satisfy Alabama's requirements? This person is talking about the National Notary Association's signing agent certification class, where they cover a lot of important information. I doubt, my answer to that notary was no. And I don't know that for a fact, but I'm pretty certain that it would not satisfy Alabama's requirements, because the NNA signing agent certification course, the focus of that course is on real estate transactions for notary signing agents, where the Alabama mandatory training class, the focus of it is on Alabama statutory requirements. The NNA class applies to all 50 states. And so, unfortunately, or not, Alabama notary signing agents will have to satisfy Alabama's background check, which we talked about in the previous video, Alabama's notary training requirements, and then also satisfy the NNA's background check and training and certification requirements. Again, this is all that this mandatory notary training, we have it now for a reason. There was no training required in the past, and that resulted in a lot of mistakes, some innocent, and it resulted in some fraud. When training is not mandatory, many people decide for themselves that it just isn't important enough to prioritize. For me, I sought out training voluntarily on my own because I lacked confidence when I performed notarizations, And most importantly, I knew I didn't know what I was doing. Knew it. I knew, yes, someone showed me what to do, but for my first notarization, the person who trained me did not even ask for ID. The document that was being notarized at the time was a jurat notarization. The person training me did not put the signer under oath. There was no journal. Now, granted, journals are not mandatory in Alabama, but it's always a best practice to have it. And so that's how I was trained. My trainer said, Michelle, come with me, watch, and that was it. Then I was expected to be a notary. And so I said that to say, unless you get formal training, or unless someone who has been formally trained trains you, you're not going to really fully know whether you're complying with your state laws or not. And so I really take this requirement as a good thing. I think it will level up the quality and performance of Alabama notaries throughout the state. I'm checking my notes to see if there is anything else that I wanted to cover as far as the training. So let me reiterate. I am a notary who will renew her commission in 2024. On September 1, 2023, I do not have to take the mandatory notary training in August and September and October at all. I wait until the time that I renew, and then I will have to complete the mandatory training. I really wanted to stress that. As more information comes out from our probate judge's office, I'll be sure to push that out to all of you. I have already started notifying members of Notaries for Alabama whose commissions expire in September. I'm letting them know, I'm like, hey, have you heard? If you haven't heard, when you go to renew in 2 months, it's going to be a different process. So I solicit your help. And when you speak with other notaries in your county, around the state, please be sure to share with them that there's a new notary law that goes into effect September 1, 2023. This completes the notary commission aspect of the new law. The notary commission aspect is, again, the $10 application fee, which is new. In fact, why don't I go ahead and pull it up on the screen? Give me just a moment. Let's see if I can flip-flop that fast. I'm proud of me. So that we just completed the commission aspect of the new requirements, which are the $10 application fee, the $50,000 notary surety bond requirement, the mandatory training, and the mandatory background check. Going forward, we're going to talk about the new standards, unlawful acts, and penalties for notaries. And it's my understanding that that will be the different topics that will show up in the training class. That's what will be addressed in training. If you haven't already downloaded the new notary law, you can do that by going to trainalabama.com. It's a free download. There are going to be more dates for these, not this one, but more dates where I host a live Zoom meeting for Alabama notaries, so that in addition to reviewing the full law, we open it up for discussion and questions and venting. So if you haven't attended one of the live Zoom meetings, you can reserve a seat by going to trainalabama.com. Again, that is free. And I want to encourage you to reach out to your local judge of probate office, ask them questions. You may find some information out that I don't know yet. And if you do, please share it with me. And then finally, don't forget that we do have a Facebook group. It is called Notaries for Alabama Hangout. It is for commissioned notaries and soon to be commissioned notaries for the state of Alabama. It's a great place to learn from one another. There are some training classes listed on trainalabama.com. If any of those interest you, between now and the end of August, if you register, you'll get a $25 discount. This is just on these classes. Use coupon code ACT548. Again, that's Act 548, and that will take $25 off of the price of the course. If you have any questions at all, please post them down in the comments. I'm doing a better job about responding quickly. And then there is also my contact information in the event you want to reach out by email. Thank you so much for subscribing to this channel and following us and staying in touch. And if you don't mind, throw a like up there so that it increases the chances of other notaries to find out about the channel. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your day.